Gaming subscriptions are a scam. Allow me to explain. Arguably the most well-known and popular subscription is Game Pass Ultimate. Marketed as the best deal in gaming and with headlines of £13 per month, over 400 games, PC, console and cloud gaming, day-and-date first-party and select third-party releases, it seems like a great deal. You should also be able to access Game Pass and its benefits on nearly any screen via Ultimate, which is amazing. But is that cost for those benefits worth it? On face value, obviously. But reality is a lot different. Recent studies have shown that the average gamer plays between 6 and 9 hours per week. At that lower end, that's less than an hour a day to play. In that scenario then, how valuable is Game Pass Ultimate? Let's look at one of the big first-party releases on the service in the last year. Starfield. By Xbox's own admission, paraphrasing Phil Spencer, Satya Nadella and Todd Howard here, Starfield gets good at around the 150-hour mark. On the lower end of that study's figures, the average gamer will get around 24 hours of gameplay in per month. If we up that to 27 hours for the odd longer session or additional session, we probably have quite a realistic figure of monthly game time for the average player. At 27 hours per month, it would take that average player 5.5 months to hit the 150-hour mark where Starfield gets good. To play 5.5 months on Game Pass Ultimate, you have to pay for 6 months. At £13 per month, for 6 months, that cost is £78. £8 more than buying the game outright. And that cost then continues to rise if you want to keep playing for the good parts of the title. It's smart marketing, but it's also scamming the player out of more money than they need to be parting with. Now, of course, there are going to be comments about different versions of Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate is the top-tier version after all. There is also a PC-only option that costs £8 per month, but Microsoft have seemingly done away with the console-only one. Console Game Pass is no longer available on the Game Pass website. Core is available, PC is available, Ultimate is available, but not console. To get console Game Pass now, as per Game Pass's own website, you have to buy Ultimate. If we look at that PC-only Game Pass though, it is £48 for the 6 months, far better than the £78 for Ultimate. But if you put another 150 hours into Starfield once it's gotten good, you've then paid £96 via PC Game Pass and £156 via Ultimate for just that game, rather than the £70 it costs to buy it outright. And if you stop paying your subscription, you lose access to the game and all of that progress. This is compounded when you realise that this calculation means that the end user has paid over the odds to play a single game. Because these sums are based on a user only playing this specific game for 6 to 12 months. This therefore makes all other claims about Game Pass, those 400 plus games, those day-and-date releases, that cheap monthly cost, etc., completely mute. And PlayStation Plus Premium is similar. With that, Sony state that I get to play online with my friends, get cloud storage for my game saves, get access to Sony Core movies, cloud gaming, and a library of over 1,200 games for my annual £120 subscription fee. Sounds pretty good all up, doesn't it? But how much of that do I actually use? I personally play and use more of these services on all platforms than an average consumer, because I'm a geek who gets joy out of these really techie things, and I make gaming YouTube content. These services help me to do that, and then I can unwind with an ultra high quality movie on Sony Core. But I'm the exception, not the norm. Even with my use case, I have to ask, am I getting value? And if I'm not, the average user definitely isn't. Of those 1,200 available games on the service, I have played about 100, give or take. But those 100 games didn't all come from PlayStation Plus Premium. Resistance 3, for example. This is a game within the PlayStation Plus Premium catalogue, that I have played to completion many times. I get great joy out of the title. The only time that I have played it via PS Plus, though, is to capture this content for this video. Every other playthrough has been a native experience on my PlayStation 3. Toy Story 2 was played on the PS1 long before YouTube even existed, let alone PlayStation Plus. Primal was one of the hidden gems that my brother and I had on PlayStation 2. Most of the Ubisoft library I've played at release or bought for dirt cheap in sales from before PS Plus Premium was even a thing. It's the same for Forager, Destiny 2 Witch Queen, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and many more. However, things like Power Wash Simulator, Humanity, Metal Hellsinger, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Grime, Nier Replicant, Unpacking, Dreams, It Takes Two, and again, many more, have all come from PlayStation Plus. I also have the added benefit, though, that I'm not the only user of my PS5. My partner plays too, and I still have my PS4 Pro, bringing wider usage of that singular subscription. Sony Core is the best and highest quality streaming service I have ever encountered, and I will now often default to that for movies that I really want to watch. And it's its inclusion within PS Plus that has cemented that for me. I regularly use cloud gaming because games like Horizon Forbidden West and Destiny 2 take up over 320 gigabytes of space on my internal storage, and if I don't have to take that up with those titles, I'd rather not. But the same calculations made for Game Pass exist with PS Plus as well. Let's base this on another big first-party title that was added to the service in 2023, the aforementioned Horizon Forbidden West. In that game, I have completed the main campaign, a bunch of side quests, and the Burning Shores DLC, and to do that, I have put in 93 hours. This isn't a 100% game save, it's just a get and enjoy the story and gameplay save. Remembering the average gamer and their 27 hours per month, it would take that player 3.5 months to put the same amount of time into this game via PlayStation Plus Premium as I have. At £13.49 per month on the monthly subscription, the user would require 4 months of PS Plus Premium to play that game to story completion, which equates to £53.96. Except, this isn't entirely true in this scenario. PlayStation Plus has an annual purchase option, unlike Game Pass. At £120 for the year, that's £10 per month if bought that way. That'd make those 4 months cost £40. In another twist though, my game time includes the DLC called Burning Shores. It is a £10 expansion. So you'd still need those 4 months, and you'd need to purchase the expansion, which you can do for PS Plus Premium games, something that is very hit and miss for a lot of Game Pass titles, to achieve what I have achieved. Adding that cost on, you're at £63.96 to play with what I have played via the monthly subscription, or £50 via the annual subscription. Those costs will increase further if the user wishes to play beyond what I have done and aim for a 100% playthrough, a challenge in the realms of 150 hours. At the time of writing, Forbidden West's Complete Edition, which includes every bit of content, including a digital soundtrack, art book, and comic book not available via the Plus Edition, as well as the Burning Shores DLC, is available on the PlayStation Store for £42.59, a saving of over £8 to £21 over the 4 months play and vastly more over a 100% play via PS Plus. If you go and buy that game physically direct from PlayStation, it's £42.89, and you can then still continue to play it long after the servers have been turned off post-apocalypse. And don't worry, Nintendo are not free from sin here. What are you actually paying for with their subscription service? I mean, we've all encountered their terrible online performance. From Smash Bros. Fights that look like they were rendered in PowerPoint to Mario Kart magic hits, the Nintendo Online platform feels like it was made with silly string and chewing gum and monitored and maintained by candy floss. Having to pay for the ability to play online here, with how bad online play still is, feels like a literal scam. Even when free, the PlayStation Network was not this bad. You pay for the privilege of playing online via these awful servers, but you also get access to classic titles from the NES and SNES generations of home consoles and some Game Boy games, but only a small selection from each generation. You get cloud saves and a terribly useless smartphone app, along with access to deals where you're meant to then spend more money. Now don't get me wrong, we're talking about £17.99 per year for this service, which is magnitudes cheaper than PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. Seriously, we're over £100 cheaper than Plus and over £130 cheaper than Game Pass. Even so, that money is paid to Nintendo for services rendered. Services that have never improved in the entire lifespan of the Switch. At 132.46 million units sold, if all of those consoles paid, Nintendo are raking in over £2 billion each year, just from Nintendo Switch Online. Yet the service we receive has never improved. Where is that money going? And this isn't including the online expansion pass, which is double the price of the base service and offers you more classic console options, a couple of DLCs, and that's about it. Am I starting to repeat myself? Because it certainly feels like it. It doesn't matter which subscription service you talk about, the conversation follows a similar pattern. Take GeForce Now, Nvidia's cloud gaming service. To me, that's always been a scam. Pay us £20 a month and we'll give you a PC in the cloud. No games though. At least you get stuff to play with Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo. GeForce Now are even worse though. You currently cannot buy a monthly subscription of either their premium or ultimate packages because they are, and I quote, sold out. To me, that means there is no availability for new joiners on the service because the servers are full. Unless apparently you pay for 6 months up front, in which case they've got all the room in the world. That simply doesn't compute. You can't have no space available for short term but plenty of space available for longer term on the same servers. That's not how networking works. Add in that they have just brought in a day pass, which is freely available and costs £2 less than a monthly pass. The blatant underhanded business practices are becoming abundantly apparent. It's scummy. And then when you add in that Ubisoft have come out and said you need to get used to the idea of not owning your games and permanently paying for multiple subscriptions instead, as they announced a revamp and new pricing for their subscription model, you should be starting to realise who these subscriptions are actually for. Because it isn't for you, the gamer. As we've seen throughout this video, even the top percentile players will struggle to get comparative value out of a single gaming subscription service, let alone multiple. The average gamer does not get any value. In fact, most of the time, they're being taken advantage of, so the companies that supply these services can milk the users for more money than they'd get from an individual user in any other manner. They create false scarcity to keep you subscribed, even when you have no use or need for the service, for fear of not being able to get back in when you then need or want it. They offer taglines like "the best deal in gaming," banking on the idea that you will never do the mathematics to figure out if that is true or not. They bombard you with adverts if you aren't subscribed, even if you don't need to subscribe to use the rest of the ecosystem. They offer you the perception of value, but in reality, none of them offer you actual value. All so they can make more money off each individual user. These services are only for the benefit of the company, and while they remain that way, they will remain a scam, as I said at the beginning of this video. Until a shift is made to consumer-focused real value, these services should be used only when they benefit you, the gamer, and cancelled immediately after that usefulness and benefit ends. It's how I use all of these services, and I make video gaming content using them. The more average gamer should probably never subscribe in the first place, especially when their money and time is more valued when buying a game outright. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you all very much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this content, then I think you'll also like this one about the best and the worst of gaming in 2023. Otherwise, thank you for your viewership, and until next time, have yourselves a fantastic day. And take care.